Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. Today I'm up to song number 2798, and that one is Lucky Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, sometimes abbreviated as ELP. This was a progressive rock band from London, England, formed in 1970. I'll get to them in a minute. Anyway, the song was released on their debut album, just entitled Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But let me talk about the group first. So, like I said, they were formed in London, England, 1970. They were together three times, I think, from 70 to 79, and then from 91 to 99, and briefly in 2010. They were, I think they were a pretty good group. I'm not that familiar with their music. I've only heard a few of their songs, but I like most of the ones I've heard. And they did a lot of electronic music. Yeah, they used a lot of synthesizer. I think here they're standing in front of one of their synthesizers in their studio. So they were kind of famous for that. And I'll just go through their hit songs. They didn't have very many hits. They only had one top 40 hit in the USA. That's not even the one I'm featuring today. But let me just go through their hits. So in 1970, they had the song I'm featuring today, "Lucky Man," and that went to number 48. Didn't quite make the top 40. In '72, they had a couple hits. They had "Nut Rocker," which I think was a remake of a song from the early '60s by B.B. Bumble and the Stingers. I've heard their version. I don't think I've ever heard ELP's version of that song. But ELP's version went to number 70. And then they had their biggest hit in '72, "From the Beginning." That was their only top 40. That just barely made the top 40, went to number 39. Very pretty song. That one is coming up on my list, by the way. And then their only other Hot 100 hit was in '77. They had a song called "C'est la Vie," which went to number 91. Um, Not to be confused with Robbie Neville's song "C'est la Vie" from the '80s. But anyway, those were their hits. And, they had another song I like. I don't think it was released as a single, but it was released on this album called "Welcome Back, My Friends, to the Show That Never Ends," ladies and gentlemen. And I never owned this album. I never actually owned any music by ELP. I've heard it on the radio. Um, this must have been a pretty strange album. I never owned this one. I think it was one of their biggest albums, maybe their biggest. But there's a song I used to hear a lot on radio called Carnival Number 9. I think Carnival 9, or at least it was part of it. I mean, this album, they had five sides. I don't know how they managed that. Probably three records inside. Maybe the third record was probably all called side five. But it had three impressions of the song called Carnival Number 9. And I guess it was such a long song, if you could call it that it took up a whole record. And one of the impressions I've heard on the radio, and I like it. It starts out, "Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside." It's a good song, but I don't know what the hell they were doing making it into a whole big record. I guess it was some sort of Armageddon scenario or something. But, I just like that song, and it is coming up on my list, as well as "From the Beginning." I think those are the only two other songs besides the one I'm featuring today. "Lucky Man," that's on my list. I want to go back to "Lucky Man," though, before I finish this video. I do like this song. It's kind of it's a folk song, and it's an anti-war song, kind of subtle in its message, but I really like it, and I learned something new today. This song was actually written, I think, in 1959 or maybe 1960 by Greg Lake. I'm pretty sure he was the lead singer, and it's a beautiful song, and it's I guess it's supposed to be about this knight or this soldier, maybe from maybe the 18th century. It wasn't a medieval knight because there were bullets in the song. There were no bullets in the Middle Ages, so it must have been maybe 17th century at the earliest. But it's about this this young knight who really was, living in the lap of luxury. He had ladies by the score, and he had his, special bed made up, and all these really fine sheets and satins, and just living it up. He had everything he could possibly want for that period of time. But he went to fight wars for his country and his king. I guess, he wanted to honor his kingdom by fighting their enemies, and he ends up getting killed. That's how the song ends. A bullet had found him. He rushed to his side. I guess no money could save him, so he lay down and died. But the whole song, every chorus, they say, "Ooh, what a lucky man he was." Doesn't sound so lucky at the very end. I think that was the point they were trying to make. Very strong anti-war message, and the other thing that came to my mind about the end of that song, "No money could save him," that reminds me of a line from the New Testament, supposedly by Jesus, when I don't know the exact quote, but he said that a camel had more chance of passing through the eye of a needle than a rich man has for going to heaven. So maybe he had that in mind on the last verse. I don't know. There's also, a movie from the 30s called "You Can't Take It With You," and that means you can't take however much money you earn your whole life. You can't take it with you before you die. So you better find some other things in life to worship besides your money and your luxuries. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. But that's my profile on Lucky Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.